Today's video sponsor is GVG Mall, where using my SKG discount code leads to a 25% off across several products, making a Windows 10 serial key only $16. After the payment, you'll receive the key in your account and all you need to do is to introduce it in your Windows settings and bam! You have an activated system.
Hello guys, this is Gameplays, I'm Fabio Pisco and welcome to my channel. So, remember that I recently bought the RX 6700 XT and I actually bought it for 382 or 86 euros, and that was actually a massive deal for Portugal or Spain users because the 6600 XT was actually more expensive than the 6700 XT on this particular promotion, okay? I know that on Newegg you can find some of them like $369, and let me tell you right away, it is a good deal. Now, this card is mostly not available worldwide, but it will become available in some time. It was officially released like some weeks ago, I believe, and it took time to actually reach all the markets, okay? I myself, when I bought this card, I actually had to wait like 2 weeks to actually receive it and test it, so... Well, you know. And I'm making this video mostly because, like I told you before, in Portugal and Spain, this card, the 6700 non-XT, was actually less expensive than the 6600 XT and quite less expensive than the 6650 XT. We actually have more physical units, we have a more VRAM, we have a wider bit bus, 160-bit bus versus 128-bit bus on the 6600 XT, so what's the catch? And that's why I'm making this video, 6600 XT versus 6700 versus 6700 XT, to see if this card actually performs in between these two cards or if it bends more to the 6600 XT or to the 6700 XT side. That's all. And well, without any further delays, let's go to the benchmarks.
Today's first game is Assassin's Creed Valhalla using very high settings. At stock, the 6700 is 5 average FPS faster than the 6600 XT, but when both are overclocked, the results are equal, with the 6700 only delivering 4 average FPS more than the 6600 XT, while having much more physical units, leading me to believe that this card really needs driver updates for better performance. At 1440p, the 6700 is still being quite outmatched by its XT version, being 13 average FPS slower and beating the 6600 XT by 6 average FPS, which is not bad. At 4K, the scales continue and not even the huge difference in cache and wider bit buzz made the 6700 stand out in comparison to the 6600 XT, somehow being only 3 FPS faster. Gears 5 is another title that shows the urgent need for driver updates for the 6700. I mean, at 1080p it actually has less FPS than the lower tier 6600 XT, which makes absolutely no sense, since it is better in everything related to hardware. At 1440p, the 6700 XT has once again a clean advantage, pushing over 90 average FPS, while the other two cards are tied with 76. Still, the 6700 should be pushing around 80 average FPS here, or maybe a bit more, but somehow that isn't happening. And at 4K, well, it isn't different, with the 6700 barely beating the 6600 XT due to its wider bit buzz. Very strange results in this game.
Hole hidden behind that poster that leads to the real world. We all feel safe in that room. But sometimes something crawls out from behind the poster. And the ones that see it happen freak out.
Now we have control using high settings. In here we can see once again the 6700 XT mopping the floor with the 6700. But the same 6700 is ahead of the 6600 XT by 6 average FPS. This while actually consuming less power with my undervolt configuration, which is nothing less than amazing. At 1440p, the 6700 is once again around 6 average FPS over the 6600 XT, and the 6700 XT is the top dog, sitting comfortably at 86, having almost as many 1% lows as the 6700 has on averages. At 4K, this game gets really heavy, and although all GPUs are over 30 average FPS, those 4 FPS over the 6600 XT are always welcome. Horizon Zero Dawn is our next title using ultra settings. In the previous side-by-side comparison you saw that although the 6700 is considerably slower than the 6700 XT, it also consumes way less power. Still, the 6700 performance in this game at 1080p is equal to the 6600 XT, when it should always be faster. Once again, I believe that some good driver improvements would make this GPU run way better overall. At 1440p, the 6700 finally gets some ground, being 6 average FPS over the 6600 XT, but also 16 below the 6700 XT. And strangely, at 4K, where I thought the difference would be bigger due to the 6700 XT having more raw power, well, it isn't, with the 6700 XT pushing almost 60 average FPS and the 6700 not even reaching 50. Red Dead Redemption 2 it is using Vulkan API and high settings. If you watch the side-by-side comparison, you already see how power efficient the 6700 can be if you leave the core at around 2500 MHz, actually having more physical units than the 6600 XT but consuming less power. This while also delivering around 6 average FPS more. At 1440p, the average FPS difference is practically the same, but now the 6700 actually has higher minimums as well, with the 6700 XT being 16 average FPS over its non-XT brother. And at 4K the differences get even more important, with the 6700 XT being the only one getting close to 60 FPS, and with the 6700 being only a bit faster than the 6600 XT, but having higher minimums, delivering an overall smoother gameplay. Forza Horizon 5 is our last game with side-by-side comparisons. At 1080p, the 6700 is once again considerably slower than the 6700 XT, but while consuming 40 watts less. And this time the difference in between the 6700 and the 6600 XT was once again around the same 5 or 6 average FPS. At 1440p things are the same, with the 6700 XT pushing over 115 average FPS and having almost higher 1% lows than the other two cards on average. And at 4K, well, all cards can achieve 60 average FPS, but seeing the 6600 XT being as fast as the 6700 at 4K is indeed confusing. Rainbow Six Siege is a game that loves bandwidth, and the 6700 XT is smashing its opponents once again, and by a fair margin. This time the 6700 was 44 average FPS faster than the 6600 XT at stock versus stock, but overclocking the 6600 XT reduces the difference from 44 to 20 average FPS, and the difference gets maintained while both are overclocked and using SAM. At 1440p the 6700 is still almost 20 average FPS over the 6600 XT, meaning that percentage-wise the difference is bigger. At 4K the differences get smaller indeed, with the 6700 XT performing actually pretty decently.
Proceed to customs without undue delay.
Cyberpunk 2077 is actually the first game where I saw the 6700 performing considerably better than the 6600 XT in all scenarios, as it should be, leading me to believe once again that all this card needs for now are driver updates, and that it will become quite faster in a close future. At 1440p the difference is quite noticeable, with the 6700 handling the game at 70 average FPS, while the 6600 XT barely reaches 55, making a huge difference in terms of smoothness. And at 4K the difference gets even bigger, as the 6700 can almost deliver the awesome console experience, while the 6600 XT delivers the visual pollution experience, with obviously the 6700 XT not even reaching 40 average FPS. Still, way better than the other cards.
Can be a little rough. Move around a bit to make sure you didn't break anything.
Now, Call of Duty Warzone is one of the most ridiculous results I've got so far. I mean, this GPU at stock versus stock is indeed faster than the 6600 XT, but once we overclock both, they are actually equal, which makes absolutely no sense and really annoys the hell out of me. And don't think this is due to having 100 MHz less on the 6700, because I tried those 100 MHz more, and I even tried 200 MHz more, and the gain was about from 5 to 8 average FPS, which is a joke. At 1440p things are equal once again, with the 6700 XT being the only card actually capable of delivering close to 160 average FPS, and it is only at 4K that the 6700 manages to outmatch the 6600 XT, providing higher FPS and higher overall smoothness. Still, pretty bad results here for the 6700. Resident Evil Village seems to be a really close scenario to what Call of Duty was, but at least we now have the 6700 slightly faster than the 6600 XT. Not by much though. Even at 1440p the 6700 is only pushing 5 average FPS more, both on average and 1% lows. This while the 6700 XT is pushing 143 average FPS, which is 25 average FPS over the 6700. Just bad. At 4K the trend continues, making me wish that we already had some better drivers for this GPU. Very bad results in this game once again.
Brother!
The last game tested today is God of War, and finally we have some good news, with the 6700 pushing considerably more FPS than the 6600 XT, showing us how a full optimized 6700 should be in terms of results, actually in between the 6700 and 6600 XT, this time with 12 average FPS over the 6600 XT. At 1440p, the 6700 is still considerably faster than the 6600 XT, but the 6700 XT is definitely the star with almost 100 average FPS. Turning the page to 1440p ultra-wide, well, not bad at all. The 6600 XT managed to push around 60, while the 6700 being able to deliver around 66, and the 6700 XT pushing comfortably 80 average FPS. Well, all said and done, let's move to the conclusion.
So guys, as for the conclusion, well, conclusion is the conclusion is actually pretty interesting because in my point of view, it all comes to pricing. In most scenarios, the 6700 is actually less expensive than the 6600 XT. God knows why. So if you can actually find the 6700 costing less than the 6600 XT, well, then there's a no-brainer. If it costs the same price, well, I would still go with the 6700 because as you saw in the video, if you tweak the card to 2500, 2600 in the core and you actually undervolt it, you can have a card performing at least the same or in most scenarios way better than the 6600 XT while consuming even less power. So this card is the sweet spot. If you can actually find it cheaper or at the same price as the 6600 XT, well, I wouldn't even bat an eye, I would just grab the 6700, no doubts. But if you can actually spend like $50 more or maybe like $50 to $70 more, then the 6700 XT is definitely the card to go, even more if you want to go 1440p or 1440p ultra wide, okay? I advise always, if you can spend those $50 or $70 more, well, just go to the 6700 XT. If you can't, if you actually need that money to maybe get a better CPU, more RAM or an NVMe disk, well, then you just go with a 6700 non-XT. If you can, the XT version, okay? Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share this video because that really helps a lot. And also, I'll be also releasing the unboxing of this card amongst the 25 games on this card and so on, so on, so on. So basically, I will indeed release more content on this card, and I will also release the content on the 5600G APU. Okay, at least the 25 games on it to see how it performs in terms of integrated graphics. Okay, thanks a lot for watching and see you in the next video. Yeah.